Hank Haney here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Hank? Good to chat with you.
I'm doing great, Rich. Thanks for having me on. You're getting ready to putt better, aren't you?
Well, you know, Hank, I need anything I can get. I got to be quite honest with you. I'm a guy that doesn't have a lot of time to get out there. When I do love it. But I guess to use the Caddyshack phrase, I'm no good. I'm just no good. You know?
Well, most people struggle. You're not alone.
Now, would you agree that the toughest shot is the approach out of anything, Hank?
Well, I mean, it depends what the weakness in your game is. I mean, that's the toughest shot. I think that's one of the things that makes the game so great. Everybody has different shots that they're good at and different shots that they're not so good at. But at the end of the day, you know, a lot of it comes down to can you make the putts, and that's one of the things about the flat cat putter grip is we feel like because of you get the feeling of square in the palm of your hands, you can make more putts, and well, that's what people will be looking to do at Augusta this week is make more putts. That's for sure.
So if I'm having trouble cracking 100, how much candy are you giving me on the golf course right now, Hank? If you and I peg it up right now, how much candy do I get?
I don't know. I don't know if I can trust your handicap quite a bit. But you know what? You never know. I mean, everybody has a good day.
Okay.
And you know what? They're few and far between. I always tell people when they're telling me how good they're playing, I said, make sure you enjoy it because it's only temporary.
Hank Haney, golf instructor, joining me here, former swing coach of Tiger Woods on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's get right to it. You told the writer Alan Shipnuck about this fascinating piece he had about where Tiger Woods' career has been, where it's going now, if it's going anywhere. You said, quote unquote, Tiger Woods at some point around the mid-2000s was tired of being Tiger Woods. Why'd you say that, Hank?
Well, I mean, that's just a theory that I had. It's a lot to deal with, a lot of pressure. He did it for a long, long period of time, and he excelled for an incredible period of time, just to a level that we've never seen before. And when he started talking about wanting to be a Navy SEAL and he was practicing a little less, of course, he had injuries were mounting up on him, too. First it was his knee, and, of course, now it's his back. But it's just, it's a lot to handle. It's a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and I just kind of got that feeling.
What do you mean? Well, tell me more about that Navy SEAL stuff, because that one was kind of surprising to me, not fully knowing that Tiger, because everyone was talking about how laser-focused Tiger was on golf and how you couldn't get him out of the zone, and he's thinking about being a Navy SEAL. That one was really shocking to me, Hank.
Well, he made that comment to Steve Williams after, I think it was either 2004 or 2005 U.S. Open. They're in the car driving back to the airport, and he said, you know what, I think I'm done with golf. I want to be a Navy SEAL. And I'm like, wow. But I had obviously been with him for, I was with him for 6 years, from 2004 to 2010, and he was very serious about doing the Navy SEAL thing. He did a lot of training with the Navy SEALs, both out in California and then on the East Coast, and with a lot of trained with a lot of ex-SEALs, and went through a lot of the programs that they go through, the shooting, the parachute jumping, the hand-to-hand combat training, all these different things that he was just infatuated with the idea of being a Navy SEAL.
And his personal issues, how much did that play into everything, Hank, when you were around him?
Well, I mean, I never knew that anything was going on. As hard as that is to believe, I never knew anything was going on. But I think, the big thing, the knee operations, and, he's had 4 knee operations now. He's had 3 back operations, but there's no doubt about it. I mean, the scandal took a lot out of him, as I'm sure it would anybody. And it didn't seem like it was ever the same after that, and I don't think we probably would expect them to have been either.
And on the scale of 1 to 10, I don't usually ask guests or interviewers, subjects of mine, to give a number as an answer. So give me a number and expound on it if you don't mind. On a scale of 1 to 10, how coachable is Tiger Woods?
Well, I think that depends on who the coach is. I mean, if you're if you have a way to get through to him, if you can get through to him, then he's a 10, because he's as talented a player as I think has ever played the game, and he was a pleasure to coach. It was definitely a challenge, though. When I started with him Butch Harmon, his coach before me, said to me, he said, Hank, it's a lot harder than it looks. So I think for some coaches, I think he would be a 1, and for other coaches, he might be a 10. It just depends. He's a player that you have to get through to, and you have to use different techniques to do it. And I don't think that would come as any surprise either. I mean, when you're the best there is, there's something that's different about you, and he was definitely a challenge for an instructor. I think it's not any coincidence that two of the most experienced teachers, myself and Butch Harmon, are the ones that had the most success with him.
Hank Haney joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. And what do you think is going to happen from here on out with Tiger? There's a possibility that he can return this year, that he can return to competitive golf and be something, a reasonable facsimile of what he was. What do you think about the future for him, Hank?
Well, I mean, I always think he's going to win. I always remember the greatness that has been Tiger Woods, but his game has slipped to a level. I mean, people talk about the injuries, and no doubt they've had a factor, but his game has slipped so much. I mean, when you look at the statistics, it's astonishing. I mean, he's one of the worst drivers of the golf ball on the PGA Tour. He was 127th in greens and regulation last year on the tour. He was dead last in scrambling last year on the tour, which was always a statistic that he was great at. He was a great short game player. So he's got a lot of holes in his game. It's just really a question of whether or not his body will allow him to practice, and whether or not he has, the drive to get back out there and climb that mountain again. No doubt that he knows how to do it. No doubt he has all the experience. I certainly don't think that he's done winning. I think that the question about Jack Nicklaus's record, getting to 18 majors to tie Nicklaus, or 19 to beat him when he's at 14 now. I think given the fact that he's 40 years old, and given the fact that he's had all these operations, that's a long shot at best at this point.
A couple more questions for you, Hank Haney, who's also associated with Flat Cat, the feeling of square that this gives you to actually help you with your putter, help square up the putter, the handle, the Flat Cat, available worldwide here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who's got the prettiest swing on the golf scene right now? Who do you look at and say that's the most perfect swing that's out there right now?
Well, it's hard not to look past Adam Scott. I mean, the two Australian players, I think, to me, Adam Scott and Jason Day. But there's so many good players. I mean, Rory McIlroy's got a great swing. I like Ricky Fowler's swing, but Adam Scott is just a swing I think that everybody would love to have.
What about Spieth?
Well, I mean, he's got a great golf swing. He's improving. He was the most improved player last year on the PGA Tour, statistic-wise. But the swing that he makes, it's the big difference is the one with the putter. He's the best putter on the PGA Tour, and that's his biggest strength. Now his ball striking is getting better and better, but his biggest strength is his putter for sure.
And I think I know the answer to this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Hank Haney, the worst golf swing you've ever witnessed belongs to who?
Well, unfortunately, my good friend Charles Barkley. Yeah, that would have to be it. When we did my show, The Haney Project, and Charles was on there, and he said, Hank, the Golf Channel says I've got the worst swing in the world. And then he sat there and he thought about it for a second. He told me, he said, but Hank, they couldn't have seen everyone in the world. That's a good point, but I haven't seen anybody worse. Unfortunately, that would have to be the answer. But one of my favorite people in the world.
Of course. But why does he stop? Did you ask him that? Did you help him? Why does he stop?
Why do guys shoot 30% from the foul line? Why did Chuck Knobloch throw it over the first baseman's head into the stands? Why did Rick Ankiel throw 16 pitches in a row into the backstop? It's a question nobody can answer.
It is what it is. All right, and tell me about Flat Cat before I let you go. How will this help me putt? This thing that I'm holding in my hand.
It's going to give you the feeling of square in the palm of your hands, and that's a huge thing with putting. Obviously, you've got to get the ball to start on line. If your putter face is just 2 degrees open or closed, you'll miss a putt from 5 feet, and that's not much. So anything you can do to get the feeling of square, the Flat Cat putter grip is a way to do that. Okay. And, you can check it out at golf.com. It's a great way to improve your putting.
Okay. Law, you want to ask him about your guy that you're so fascinated by?
Yeah,
at the
I'm just
Masters?
interested, Hank, what you think of Bryson DeChambeau and kind of what he's doing with the single plane swing, and do you see that swing having a future in golf?
I mean, he's got a great swing. This idea with all the clubs being the same length is unique. I don't think you're going to see everybody going to that. But I'll tell you what, he is a great young player. He's shown it already, shooting some fantastic scores in the company of great players, whether it be Rory McIlroy or Jordan Spieth. He's not scared of the moment. I don't think there's any doubt he's going to be a factor on the PGA Tour.
Hank, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. I'd love to have you out here in person, not just because I'd love to shake your hand and meet you, but any tips you can give. I really could use it, to be quite frank.
All right, Rich. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
You bet. That's Hank Haney.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.